At 4:12 a.m., federal armor rolled on a sitting governor. FBI Bearcats. Ice she. DEA fast. You clicked for the raid, stay for the why. How does a political office become armor for 972 kilograms of heroin, 480,000 fentanyl pills, and a network of 27 fronts? Today we dissect the failure points that let a cartel-scale pipeline hide behind state seals. You'll see the breach, the tunnels, the cash, and the playbook that beat our checks and balances. Then we map the fix, how interagency targeting finally cracked a government-grade shield. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
North Houston Church, two of its pastors are now accused of running a $50 million labor trafficking and money laundering scheme.
Drone video shows a bird's eye view of the JMMI Global Campus for Harvest off the North Freeway in North Houston. On Wednesday, a heavy law enforcement presence surrounded the facility. FBI agents moving in and out for hours.
Why did armor go to a governor's door instead of a cartel safe house? Because the site wore law as cover, and routine service would bounce. When the outer shell is political, you switch to a breach mindset: speed, shock, parallel objectives. Here's the failure. Checks and balances bent into camouflage. Licensing gave clean paperwork. Inspections slid, then reset. Procurement streams ran like supply lines, moving bulk goods, contractor vans, and maintenance shipments that doubled as logistics. Each guardrail that should slow a bad actor became a lane to move product and people. Oversight looks neat on a flowchart. In practice, capture hits the choke points. Paid insiders nudge inspection cycles, erase flags, and stall complaints. Backlogs stack up just enough to hide warehouse throughput. Hours turn into quarters. By then, the pipeline feels normal. Those 27 legit fronts are population magnets and cash sponges. Bars, spas, nightclubs, social gaming rooms pull steady foot traffic, built-in noise, and late hours. That human terrain hides exchanges, courier handoffs, and forced movement. The register hum covers the rest. Ownership blurs on purpose. Shell companies daisy chain leases and utilities, so every address sits behind another LLC. Payments hop across layered accounts, through payment processors, then bounce to holding entities, which defeats simple audit trails and keeps any single subpoena narrow and stale. On the ground, forged medical clearances and massaged worker status act like brakes. Victims can't disclose cleanly. Raids slip weeks, then months. The network buys tempo and space, while managers rotate staff to keep stories shallow and records in process. Interagency seams widen the blind sectors. State licensing sees business filings. Federal immigration watches status. Narcotics enforcement flags cargo. Siloed data means each unit stares at a partial map, and the gaps become safe lanes. Encrypted safes, tunnels, narcotics caches, these aren't accidents. They're signs of a hardened site built to outlast routine scrutiny. When political authority becomes the shield, the only tool that works is a synchronized, multi-agency playbook with simultaneous objectives. Next, we break down how the Federals mapped the network, cut the insider alarms, and ran a city-spanning takedown without friendly fire. 4 moves cracked the seal. Synchronized warrants. Hardened entries. Split teams. Perfect comms. You asked how they breached a network wrapped in titles and locks. This is the story of timing beating cover. They planned for a raid on deception, not a den. Multiple hubs on one clock. Legal booby traps ready to stall. Every door a potential alarm post. So the play called for parallel hits across fronts, warehouses, admin offices, and the principal's residence, each with its own breach stack and arrest team, each with a time on target that left no gap for a warning call. Insiders had looped cameras and silent alerts. Any single knock could ripple across the grid. That forced a choice, one wave or no win. They chose one wave. At the minute, doors came off hinges, safes got pinned, and routers went dark. Front sites took first contact, spas, a club, gaming rooms. Those teams moved past counters fast, controlled staff, kept patrons safe, and flagged rooms where victims might sit hidden behind employee-only signs. Warehouse nodes got heavy entries and cuffs on loaders before phones could start burning. Admin hubs mattered most for the paper war. Ledgers. Digital safes. Billing servers. Those squads grabbed the brains, laptops bagged live, drives imaged on scene, cloud sessions frozen while warrants held. Armored vehicles and flashbangs weren't show. They were speed and control in tight urban boxes, where a loud, fast hit takes oxygen from armed suspects and stops shredders from chewing truth. Fast-style entries put shock at the threshold and order in the hall. Victim extraction split from evidence squads on purpose. One group calmed the room, set medical support, and moved people off the X. The other locked narcotics, cash, and data before an insider could purge a ledger or wipe a phone. Comms discipline kept the net clean, deconfliction maps, radio plans, tamper calls for shredders and encrypted gear. Chain of custody started at the breach point and never broke. The ledger problem needed simultaneity. Seize every node at once, and links stand. By sunrise, the shield buckled, dope seized, victim safe, cash frozen, ties mapped across borders. Now comes the question you have to answer. How do you treat corruption like a tactical threat without rolling armor every week? When power becomes armor, ethics talk ends and tactics begin. Treat corruption like terrain. Map it. Fix it. Then clear it with fused intelligence and synchronized action that denies escape routes and shuts down the money, the movement, and the mouthpieces in one cycle. If you want more hard-nosed breakdowns of how tactics and governance collide, subscribe and tell me, should task forces treat high-level corruption like counter-network warfare? Comment your choice below. The fix is discipline, not drama. Tight intel. Clean comms. Zero daylight between agencies. You build muscle memory for this fight, and you keep it sharp, because the next shield will look official.